Meeting will now come to order. Minutes of the previous meeting, April 9th, 2019.
Approve as written. I second.
Moving properly second, all in favor? Ayes have it. Chris, you're up.
Okay, go ahead and take you to the cash flow on page 1. Go through that real quick. We took in $652,468 for the month, operating revenues, and had other miscellaneous receipts, brought us a total of $677,446. Our disbursements, not including transfers, were $421,416. We did have a quarterly payment for our property and casualty insurance in there, and we spent $20,464 for inventory, and we had about $10,743 in capital expenditures. $13,979. You can't see it. Left us with an ending balance for the month of $928,030. Go ahead and go to page 2. Most of our operating revenues were pretty close to the forecast. We took in a total of $506,191. Our expenses were close to forecast, except for general was a little bit high, but we had a billing from our pension management company, which was about $9,000. Left us a net income of $4,374, which was a little under forecast. Our year-to-date is a little bit under forecast at $50,218. Take you to page 3. Our salaries and wages was down a little bit from the prior year, but we were down 2 people. Most of the expense categories were close to forecast, except for materials and supplies. We had some fluoride pumps and purchased some bucket forks that are in there. And then our contracted services was a little bit high with some truck repairs, and we had our pension fees in that on that line. Everything else is pretty close to where it should be. And then I'll just take you to page 5 real quick, and just I've got the new line there for the bond payments that are due in September. We're starting to fund that account, or sinking fund, over again. And we have 1 6-month CD in the improvements fund and 2 6-month CDs in the tank painting fund that are matured on April 2nd. So unless there's any questions, that's all I've got.
Pretty soon we put the 2019 rain data in there. It's nice to see these funds being funded.
Yeah, with the retirement of Jim Kinsel, that dropped us down to 36 people now. So we got the interview process just about wrapped up for the maintenance man, the laborer, and the janitor. So we'll be back up to 39 here shortly. So hopefully that's going to help us out. So.
All right, any questions?
I so move we approve the financial statement for the period ending March 31st, 2019 as submitted.
Second. Moving properly second. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Keep bringing money in, Chris.
Yeah, somebody else will.
Purchase orders.
Okay, there's 4 items on the list. The bigger item is the Dorner, the check valves and fittings. That's for our high service pumps number 5 and 6. We're going to rebuild the automatic valve that's down there, we're gonna take that out because that thing sticks and it just doesn't work properly. So we're gonna remove that with a swing check valve and a couple pipe fittings, and it's gonna make it better for us.
We go to that in-house?
Yeah. This is for material cost here, so. And then with Emmy Simpson, we're gonna need to put a tap in one of the bigger pipes down there inside the plant, and we're gonna have them come in and test to see how our master meter is calculated in relationship to his pitot reading, piezometer reading, I should say, so we can get that calibrated and make sure that what we're pumping out is what we're actually billing for. So we want to make sure that's accurate.
Is that calibrated on a yearly basis, or is that just
Well,
one time?
we haven't done it since this has been put in, and that was since '95. So, but it's not there's no moving parts. It's a Venturi type meter.
Yeah.
And it's sent with a PLC board down there in the pit to our SCADA system, but we can go down there and blow that line out, and then we can set the thing back to zero, but we got to do it when we don't have any flow, and that hardly ever happens. So
Go ahead.
we're going to have to shut this down for a period of time, run off our tanks, but it's going to happen in May and when the pumpage is down, so we can.
So there's no regulatory requirement that we have
No,
to do
but
this every on a yearly basis or 6
no.
months?
But what this will help is for our unaccounted for water, so we'll be able to account for that better. So that's the reasoning for that. Other than that,
Randy, the check valves, what was wrong with the first? You said they were sticking. What's the difference between the new check valves and the old check valves?
it's an angle valve, and it works off of electronics, and it sticks at times. So we're replacing those with a swing check valve that's manual. It's automatic.
Oh, so it is different.
Yeah.
Different design.
Different design. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Similar to what we got out at the booster station. They work a lot better.
Okay. Any more questions on purchase orders?
Nope.
All right. Item 4, Randy.
Okay, this project and fees have been approved already with Wessler. It's just that this is the agreement for Wessler Engineering to start doing the work for our corrosion control in the treatment plant. And we just need to sign the agreement. All the fees, again, are the same as what we agreed to before. The study phase of $5,400, design phase of $17,000, and the construction phase of $9,000 for a total of $31,400. So again, we just need to sign 2 of these, Larry.
Okay.
If the board wishes, you and I can sign this and get back to them, so we can do that.
No problem.
Okay, so we don't need we've already approved this.
Yeah, I think we just authorize us to.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
All right, we'll sign that in the meeting.
Okay.
Item 5.
I sent you this as a handout down in the Sheridan Beach area. Some of those homes down there, as I was mentioning earlier, are fed with a 3/4 inch line with 3 homes off of 1 line. And they're starting to update some of these homes and so on and so forth. Well, we don't really have a main on Carolina Ave. What our plan was is to run a 2-inch down Carolina, tie over these services, and then on Colfax run from Nevada over to Carolina with a 4-inch to help support that main better. And then these 5 homes would then tie into that 2-inch line. We'd get rid of some long straws on Colfax, and it would just make us a better system down there for circulating water and give these people some redundancy. So if the main should ever break on Lakeshore Drive, you'll backfeed around off of Colfax Ave. My recommendation is that the department absorb the cost for the materials for this project on Carolina and Colfax, and we'll just charge the people for a new 1-inch tap for these homes. Since I'm guessing some of them never paid for a tap to begin with. So, and if we wanted to take it one step further, we could continue the 4-inch down Colfax to Shawmut Drive, and then tie in that 2-inch to just again for redundancy for those homes in there. But there's no new taps or other taps that would come off of that other block. I have to do that.
How many gallons is that?
Which one?
The second.
The second one? There wouldn't be any. I mean, basically, that would just create a circulating system in there.
Any reason we're using copper versus ductile iron?
Due to the grade change, and this is going to be directionally bored, the copper will bend a little bit easier.
Oh, so it's not
It's not-
grading your boring under the ground surface. What about the
2-inch
plastic pipe?
I think the state's already
Another
talked
question,
about
Randy.
that.
Would it make, while you're doing all that, the extension you talked about earlier, could you get that all done at one time so it's not that, going back and do it?
It would be beneficial to do it all at one time, yeah, if we did that.
Why don't we do that then?
That's the board's choice there.
Well, I would like to recommend it. Yeah, hear a recommendation for that, a motion for that. Second.
Complete it all?
Yeah, it makes sense. You gotta have it be down there.
Don't need to come in back, let's
No.
get it done all at once. Moving properly second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
So the labor and everything, the material, we're absorbing all that, right?
Yeah,
This is our
but
total,
this is what our costs are actually gonna be is
not this, this.
well,
That's fixed.
that's already.
That's fixed,
That's
yeah.
already set up in
Yeah,
our
yeah,
system.
that's
so,
fixed.
Yep,
Okay, that sounds good.
very good. Well, thank you.
All right. Item 6.
Okay, the Indiana Section 8 WWA Northwest District meeting will be held Friday, May 17th in Cherville. Again, I'm recommending we send the 5 people who need contact hours for that and any board members who wish to attend. So, Chris Johnson will be making a presentation on silica dust standards. It's a safety issue, and basically it's going to be taught when they're cutting and concreting, it's the concrete pipe and concrete and safety issues with masks and stuff like that. So he's going to be talking about that. So,
No problem.
okay.
Is the board member interested in going and learning about that?
I think he represents very well. Yeah, I'm looking forward to reporting on this.
Who said I was going? It does look interesting though. All right,
I think you should.
item 7.
Okay, as you've been hearing in the news, that the Michigan City Airport is looking at expanding their runway south over Highway 20, with Highway 20 then being lowered. And with that, we will have a water main that will need to be relocated. The sewers will have to be relocated. There's other fiber optic, telecommunications, gas and electric will have to be relocated out there as well. The Michigan City Aviation Commission hired Butler Furman and Seifert to do their design for the runway, and we've been in contact with them and suggested that they should do our water main relocation as well. Since they're involved with the project, it's a cost-saving measure somewhat for us that everybody kind of sticks together and they know what's going on with their road project and with their easements and so on and so forth. The nice thing about this is it's reimbursable work. So whatever we pay will be reimbursed for. Jake Grammel from Butler, Furman, and Seifert is here tonight to answer any questions the board may have. He provided us a engineering proposal for their services. It's been reviewed by our engineer. Insurance has been also been reviewed by general insurance, and everything looks to be good. Barry had a few minor changes. Jake got those back to me today. They've been inserted in your agreements, and it's just minor word changes, so there's nothing really that would change the scope of the project. But the total cost for their design and work that they'll be looking at for this is $71,200. Again, reimbursable through the Federal Aviation Authority and Michigan City Aviation Commission. So I think there's some preliminary work they're going to be starting on with our design, getting easements ready to go, but this is going to be a drawn-out project based on the way the federal government releases their money to build these projects. So hopefully, when we get started, we'll have money available to get reimbursed right away. So if you have any questions for Jake, I'll open it up for you to answer.
How long will the runways be when they're extended?
That's 5,000 feet.
A total length of 5,000?
Length of 5,000, yeah. What that does is it allows the next level of plane jet to use the runway.
How long are they now?
42, I think 4,200.
Just going to go to 5,000 to be able to
land his new jet in it.
Well,
Even
Lear's,
smaller one.
Lear's can land now, but
Yeah, but they can only land.
yeah, it's very tight. I mean,
They can only land in, what is it, wintertime or summertime? They have.
I don't know, but I knew
Yeah,
Lear.
wind conditions play into that. There's a few things. It's been a feat to get approval for the extension to begin with. There was a lot of letters that needed to be provided, things of this nature to warrant the extension. And of course, some of you may be aware, the option to extend to the north was vetted some time ago, and due to some environmental issues, it wasn't going to be feasible. Yeah. So the alternative, obviously, is to go to the south, and fortunately, I guess for us, we're able to do that by lowering the highway and not affecting the interchange. Drainage can work, all these things can work by way of gravity. There's been quite a bit of preliminary work already with the roadway, geotechnical investigations, things of that nature. This is kind of the next step, and great job kind of summarizing things earlier here. The project will be drawn out in draws of what the grant amounts are per year. So we're going to be working through that process and relocating utilities, then lowering the road, and then actually building the bridge and extending the runway. So it'll be, 3-4 years before everything's all said and done once we get going, but the end result will be something special. And everyone, all the high rollers can fly into blue chip and, start spending their money.
So there is a time frame for start to completion?
There is, and we'll provide a more thorough schedule once we get a little bit more information from FAA. This is really going to be the first of the construction sequence to begin. Obviously, there are other utilities that will relocate. We'll coordinate with them. They'll be doing their own design and their own work. We'll obviously make sure they're located out of the way of all of our MSC walls, and we'll set aside specific easements for water and sanitary sewer for the city. We'll be working for the Michigan City on those respects. And then again, coordinating with your Frontier, Comcast, and NIPSCO through the area. So it'll be an orchestration of events, but we'll be watching over that and making sure things are done in order so that there are no hiccups on down the road.
You'll be in charge of all the different inspectors for all the different parts of the need inspection?
Yeah, there'll be standalone agreements for each inspection effort that it goes along, and we'll have a resident inspector on all of that. That will be out of my office, and we're located in Maryville. I live just not too far in Porter County, so we're all in the area. We'll keep an eye on things, and as those sequences of construction go, we'll probably be back before you to give progress reports, things of that nature, so that you guys are kept at least in the loop. If you want written reports, however that may be, we're more than happy to accommodate you that way.
Do you anticipate any interruption in service for clients?
There's nobody tapped in off of this main since it was put in, so we're going to be in the clear.
Yeah, that was one of my questions. The FAA is going to be reimbursing us.
Yeah, that's correct.
The amount of money that we put out in different times, how long does it usually take before they reimburse? Have we ever done this before?
Decades.
I don't know that you have, not that I'm aware of anyway, but the first draw is in September. So there'll be some allotment of the soft costs up front and then reimbursements on that. The actual construction, we talked about this with Randy and Chris a little bit. They can do that based on an engineer's estimate, or they can do that based on the bid. And it's been our experience that it's best to do that based on the engineer's estimate. We try to make sure we're conservative in that nature. And believe it or not, if you end up coming in less than that, you're all right. In the case where you bid the project and go by award, any change order then falls back solely on the water district. So, we'll work through those, but as that happens, those are, I think, quarterly draws for repayment. So we won't be a whole lot out of pocket all at once before you reimburse. Okay. And we can get you a drawdown schedule as we move forward a little bit further, so that you're aware of when to expect if that becomes a line item in the report or whatever, make sure you have all the information in front of you.
Yeah, before we pay out, we will get reimbursed then until the next.
You don't have to wait till the project's over.
Yeah, right, that's what I'm getting
Any
at.
size
Each time we,
aircraft coming in here now, within the,
I don't know that for sure, so I don't want to misspeak. I'm not really that involved in the aviation side enough to know the actual aircraft sizes. Paul Schaefer, who heads that.
yeah, the only thing I'm thinking is with all this work that's going on, make it extra long so you can get the larger aircraft in. Since-
We're definitely, we're getting the length as far as it can go with respect to the property to the south. We got all the railroad there with the railroad, so yeah, it's the maximum extension that will be realized.
Okay.
And the property owner, as you probably all well know, is Ton Blank, and they've been great to work with. We work with them on their plan for their development, which sort of surrounds that area, and they've been very accommodating. We had a meeting with them as early as last week, and working through that right away and easement acquisition with them will be hopefully pretty seamless.
I know, from my point of view, I think a periodic update maybe from your office or yourself there would be helpful so we know exactly where we
How
are
often
on
will
this.
you be here?
That's up to you guys. As we get rolling, we're accommodating whatever you feel is appropriate. If you want to do monthly updates or bi-monthly updates when things get really moving, we can work, I guess, with you.
With
Randy,
what
to
we
keep-
got to do out there, we should be done in and out of there within a month or so.
Yeah, the construction will be quick.
Yeah.
But the design will take longer than the construction with the coordination. and all that.
If it's gonna be a month.
As long as you're working with Randy, we'll hear from him.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we'll be sure to check in and we'll work through Randy, and if you guys ever need.
They'll probably tired of seeing my face out there.
We'll,
I thought it'd be longer, but that's fine.
we want to keep you all informed.
What's that?
it's all right.
It's water over the dam.
Just agree with you, man.
Once the cameras off, we're done, I'm going to let you know what I suggested that they do out there, and they didn't take me up on it, so.
All right.
Okay. I don't have any more
Thanks for coming,
questions.
Jake. Any more questions, anybody?
No?
All right, well, we got to get these signed, and we'll sign them once we're finished here, so. We do a motion to approve?
Also move that we honor the agreement as presented tonight and document it.
I second.
Moving to private second. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion's carried. Second claim coming in. Okay, do we have any, you're welcome to remain and become part of our public and drink all the water you want to.
All right, appreciate it.
Okay, do we have any old business?
I do. Randy?
Surprise, surprise.
What? You have a question, Ted?
I just got some old business.
some old business.
Do you have any?
No.
Okay. I just, my follow-ups, that's all I'm looking at. Pritzwitz too early.
No, I talked to Mr. Pritz today, and he's gonna make some modifications out there, so we'll be revising the estimate again.
Okay.
For the hospital, I have not heard anything more.
How about Love?
That's a county issue out there with them. I guess from what I understand, the pipeline company wants Love's Truck Stop to pay for new piping underneath their paved parking lot, which is about a $5 million job, so I don't know what's gonna happen. Yeah, they wanna buy them, I guess, I don't know, but anyway, that's what I heard.
So that's still a lot of fuzzy stuff.
That's in limbo right now.
Yeah, the county slowed that project down to deal with this issue with the pipeline.
Right, it was on the radio today.
I was gonna ask anything more to report on the I-94, County
No,
Road 950.
that's all part of all that stuff out there.
Okay.
It's all false.
Water main extension service Mulligan Street.
Nothing more on that.
Okay, good. That's all I have.
Okay. New business. New business? Public comment. No public comment, okay.
Hearing none, I move that we adjourn.
Move to private second, this meeting adjourned, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, Sam, please adjourn.
Hey, Randy.